Back in 2014, the company DMNDBXX was formed and they created their first product. The Model L featured a true 140 watt amplifier, aluminum and wood construction, and illuminated carat cubic zirconia showing the battery's charge. Over the past decade plus, they have continually grown their boomboxes and product line, including most recently Pro Audio powered speakers. Today I'm going to unbox and show off their largest subwoofer offered, the Pro 18 model. Let's get it unboxed and find out what it's all about.
This is not a Mickey Mouse program!
After my lame attempt at frisbee golf with the packing material, here we can see the monstrosity itself, the Pro 18 sub. Exterior is finished in a rubberized protective coating, much like a truck bed liner. The front is shrouded by a metal grille and acoustic screen, your choice to remove one or both. I decided to remove the acoustic screen so I could more easily see the huge 18-inch sub from within. I'll show more about that as we proceed through the specifications and features of the Pro 18 sub. On the top of the sub is a threaded hole accepting the standard 35mm or 1.375 inch size Pro Audio speaker pole for attaching a mid-high speaker such as the Pro 15, making it convenient for outdoor sound reinforcement. On each side of the box are integrated grab handles helping maneuver the nearly 100-pound enclosure. Make sure you grab a friend because this thing is not light. And since this is a powered subwoofer, on the back is the plate amplifier with all the inputs, outputs, and adjustments. And an 18-inch sub in a 6 cubic foot box is rather large, 26 inches by 20 inches by 27.5, also weighs 95 pounds or 43 kilograms. The enclosure is constructed out of 18mm Baltic birch, treated and coated, internally braced. 6 cubic feet, dual-ported bass reflex system tuned to 32 Hz. Of course, this speaker being Pro Audio, we would expect to see balance inputs, and yes, we have those XLR balance inputs for left and right. Also, we have outputs for linking multiple Pro 18s. If one's not enough, you can link a couple more. And the mix output allows you to send your full range signal from either Bluetooth or your XLR inputs out to another powered speaker. Speaking of Bluetooth, it did seem kind of odd to me this had Bluetooth built in, but I'll talk about why here in a minute. The signal limit LED shows you when compression is stopping the output from causing distortion. The DSP button controls the 4 different options for digital sound processing. And the phase button allows you to switch between 0 degrees and 180 degrees. The sub-level potentiometer helps you control the volume of the subwoofer, of course. And then the crossover variable between 40 Hz and 140 Hz at 24 dB per octave controls your low frequency cutoff. As we move to the bottom of the plate amp, we'll see the IEC standard power input, 3-prong, powered with the included 6-foot power cord. In the center is a voltage selection switch, covered by an acrylic plate for choosing either 115 or 230 volt input voltage. On the far right is the power switch for on or off. In my tests, I do not believe this has auto power on, so it stays on the entire time, so just be noted of that. As for the amplifier power, 500 watts RMS continuous CTA 2006D, also 1000 watts RMS dynamic IHF 202 standard using the 81, which we will confirm here shortly. Back to the DSP modes, flat is for pure accuracy, SQ is for extended lows for hi-fi or home theater, SPL is for maximum loudness outdoors, and out is for maximum outdoor runtime on battery power. While the Sub 18 doesn't include an internal battery, an external one is offered for those who need sounds without plugs. Now that I've pulled off the front metal grille, you can see the construction here of the enclosure, the dual ports at the bottom, the massive 18-inch subwoofer. We'll talk about that later once I pull it out of the box, so we'll see what it looks like, how it's built, and all that good stuff. Now for the sound demos, I hooked it up using the Monster Audio GI30, and I noticed really quick that the GI30 had a fixed output, so I actually had to use the Bluetooth built in to the Pro 18 and send the signal out to the Pro 18. So let's give it a listen. Now, of course, you can't get the sound quality over YouTube or the output level. This thing does thump, but I decided I was going to put it into my home theater for a while too and do some measurements. But the first thing I noticed is I don't have XLRs in my home theater, so I had to use this Rolls MB15B Pro Match, which allowed me to use RCAs from my receiver and go out XLR. Now, if you need to get one of these, they're around $100. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Let's start off with the pink noise and see the frequency response of the sub. There you can see it's definitely higher at 40 Hertz. And again, this is a pro audio subwoofer, not really designed for home theaters, but it does work using the SQ preset on the DSP, which I did, and ran the frequency response sweep through here. We can see definitely had a peak around 40 Hertz, but it definitely got into the 20s for sure. And we did some of our favorite soundtracks, I should say movie tracks. Tron Legacy and the light cycle scene is obviously a favorite of mine. Should be of yours too if you like home theater. But we got the dBs up. As you can see here, 117.3, not too bad. I didn't even really have it turned up that much because it really was shaking all the stuff on the walls. You can see the sub was definitely getting down. Then I decided to get one of these heavy bass songs and we'll try it and see how it works.
Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Again, it's hard to portray the sound level over a YouTube video, but 122.6 dB is loud in a home theater, my friends. And now we need to get the plate amplifier off the back so we can perform the amp dyno test. Very appreciated here are the threaded inserts. There are a lot of screws that hold this plate amplifier onto the back, but once we get them out and unplug the wire that goes to the speaker area in the back, thankfully the amplifier has its own kind of enclosure, so it's not getting high pressure air from the subwoofer. That's much appreciated. Here is the plate amplifier. I've already shown you all the different features. We'll show you the internals here in a minute, but first off, we got to get it hooked up to the SMD DeMoore Engineering Amplifier Dyno. And if you've been living under a rock for many years, you might not know what an amplifier dyno is, but we're going to talk about what you're going to see on the screen here. On the left side, you'll see the power output in watts. In the middle, the ohm load. On the right is the voltage of the dyno, but that doesn't matter because we have it plugged into the battery bank and the amplifier is plugged into the wall. And first up, we're going to try the 8 ohm run. This is where it's rated 500 watts. So let's try certified. What you will notice is the way it counts up and kind of slows down. That is related to the compression circuit that's built into this amplifier. But here you can see it does get 563 watts at 8 ohms. So definitely meets its rated power plus some. Next up, we'll try the uncertified test, which takes us up to the point of clipping, which should give us more power than the first test, which was up to 1% distortion. And here we can see the total, we got 566 into 8 ohms up to clipping. And the final mode we'll show here is a dynamic test. This sends a pulse tone of 40 Hertz into the amplifier. And here you can see the amplifier definitely has some dynamic power, which is great for a subwoofer because a lot of the tones it'll be playing back are dynamic. 1177 watts at 8 ohms. Now we did move on to the 4 ohm mode. There's no ratings provided, but we just wanted to try just to see what we would get. So let's try certified first, which is up to 1% distortion. And here you can see it, over 800 watts. It keeps climbing, 874 at 4 ohms. So definitely has the juice. Let's try it up to the clipping point, see if we can get more than the 874. Notice the distortion light doesn't come on. Again, that is the amplifier and its compression circuit keeping distortion from hitting the speaker. 951 watts at 4 ohms. Let's try that dynamic test at 4 ohms and see what we can get. Here it is, 40 Hertz dynamic, and there you go. 1,544 watts jumps up to 1,678. And that's great to have that extra dynamic power on tap for your subwoofer. Here are the results of all the tests we just showed. You can pause it if you'd like to see them all. And if you want to see the 2.6 ohm test, you got to stick around to the very end of the video. We'll try it out and find out if it can handle the 2.6 ohm or if it goes up in smoke. Now that we've seen the watts inside, let's check out what's inside of this big old speaker. Obviously, we have an 18-inch subwoofer. It has threaded inserts, which are very nice. That way, when we mount the subwoofer back in the cabinet, we don't have to create additional holes. Once we pull the sub out here, you'll notice the cabinet, the construction, the internal bracing, also the acoustic treatment on the inside of the box, which keeps the rattling down, also helps with the sound of the subwoofer. Now, if you're like me, you like to see what's inside and see all the individual components, and I'm showing them here. Everything from the front metal grille to the plate amplifier to the 18-inch subwoofer, also the huge 6 cubic foot enclosure with a dual ported design there at the bottom. But let's move on to the subwoofer itself. The driver is 18 inches in diameter, is treated paper cone long throw design, has a cast aluminum frame, multi-fold surround, spring-loaded push terminals, 140 ounce magnet with vented pole piece, low distortion motor, single 8 ohm 4-inch voice coil. Getting out the flute, we can check out the resistance of this 18-inch driver. There you can see about 7.3 ohms. And this is what we'd expect to see with a Pro Audio subwoofer driver. Very beefy, cast metal frame design for high power applications. Now the amplifier itself is a Texas Instruments based Class D amplifier. And we're showing the internals here. We'll talk about the different sections of the amp. First off, on the left side, you'll notice the circuit board. This is where the inputs go, also the digital signal processing. In the middle is the speaker output section, and on the right side is the power supply. Now, the power supply includes a large 4-inch fan, which does seem to run continuously, so if you're using the inside, you need to be aware of that. There's lots of glue inside also to keep things from vibrating. The power supply caps are 200 volt, 1000 microfarad, 105 degrees Celsius, Success brand. Transistors are way on, 650 volt, 35 amp MOSFETs. 2 of those as well as 2 of the capacitors. The RS2092S is a high voltage, high performance Class D audio amplifier driver chip with an integrated PWM modulator. Dual 100 volt, 3300 microfarad caps for the rails with 8 IRFB4227 220 volt, 65 amp in-channel MOSFETs and TO220 casings round out the output section. Now let's move on to the pros and cons of the Pro 18 Sub by Diamondbox. First off, let's start with the good stuff. Loud and deep bass, no doubt about it, with this 18-inch subwoofer. Has 4 different DSP modes for modifying your sound. Built-in Bluetooth, so you can connect your device and send full range to other powered speakers. XLR out, also linking multiple subs. The amp measures as rated, has 24 dB per octave crossovers. The build quality and durability is fantastic. Has threaded inserts if you ever have to take the speaker or the amplifier board out. It's easy to put everything back together without damaging the cabinet. And cons or things to consider: it has no remote for controlling the sub output, no RCA inputs, you will need an adapter. Phase control is either 0 or 180, it's not variable. It's big and heavy, obviously. The fan runs continuously, so if you're using it in the home theater, be aware of that, and there is no auto on or off function. Overall, the Pro 18 Sub provides big bass output from a big and heavy speaker. The lack of RCA inputs was a bummer, but for the intended pro audio audience, RCAs aren't needed anyway. I'll leave links below in the video description if you want to check out this or any of the other products they offer. Now let's move on to the 2.67 ohm test. That's right, we promised it, and you know we always stick to our promises. Let's try it out. 40 hertz dynamic, 2.67 ohms. Can it do it? Is it going to blow up? Here we go. Send that pulse tone to the amp. Boom! It didn't blow up. But it did clamp down the output just a little bit. 1383, we actually got more at 4 ohms. But anyway, there's the final test of the Pro 18 Sub. Thanks as always for watching. Until next time, this is Big D. I'm out of here.